My name is Umaru Sanda. Tonight on Point Blank, we're talking about the Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia campaign, DMB campaign, and the agenda to ensure he becomes flag bearer. Prior to the primaries, he met members of parliament, and we're told over 100 of them were supporting him. I mean, the NPP MPs. One of his key supporters, who spoke to me on Eyewitness News during that time, is a man representing the people of Yendi. His father was a vice president, the late Farouk Aliu Mahama. So Farouk Mahama is my guest on Point Blank. He supports the DMB agenda. You're welcome to Point Blank.
Thank you very much.
How are you doing?
Alhamdulillah.
Wa alaikum salam. I didn't add that you are the caucus chair, the Muslim MP's caucus chair, correct, right?
Yes, in Parliament. Yes.
Okay. When are you taking us to Hajj?
We've been to a Hajj, and it's a successful one. Inshallah, under the presidency of Nana Addo Dankwa, Muslims have been treated with very special treatment. Innovations have been added to previous Hajj, feeding and other stuff. So kudos to the Hajj board chairman and the president Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo for having that vision of making Muslims feel very, very relieved and comfortable in their day-to-day activities at Hajj. How
is the government generally? Do you play any specific roles in governments?
No, I don't play any specific role. But as a member of parliament, I'm privileged to have been appointed by His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo as the board chairman of Ghana Integrated Iron and Steel Development. So obviously, we're adding our quota to the.
So you're still the board chair?
Yes.
Okay, how is that looking?
It's looking good. Yeah.
Is that the one that is bringing us the bauxite thing?
No, that is the iron. The iron through the iron we get steel and we able to build bridges. Able to do a lot of
your place is GISDEC.
Yes,
you are the board chair of GISDEC.
Yes.
Is that not the one that is doing what was the name of the thing that China
iron ore?
No, the China program to build roads for us and we give them bauxite.
No, that's not one. That's the GISDEC.
Okay, that's different from your own. So what does this one do?
This one is obviously to incorporate and make sure the Iron and Steel Development Corporation, we try to use concessions to know the mineral resource estimations of the country.
Okay.
Through that, we get the iron. Through iron, we can do a lot of steel.
Okay.
Through that, the automobile industry can be able to use that. And we are on course to doing that. And as under the leadership of our Minister, Honorable Abu Jinapo, and the President, we are obviously on track to do things. But tonight is a different agenda.
I know. I just wanted to be sure. So before your late dad died, did you have conversations with him on Dr. Bawumia? What was his thinking about Dr. Bawumia being president or running flag bearer and all of that?
Thank you very much. My late father, Farouk Aliu Mahama, first of all, was the first Muslim vice president of the Fourth Republic for the New Patriotic Party under the leadership of our father and godfather, President John Ejiokum Kufuor. After 30 years of wilderness in trying to come to power, MPP has been privileged to have that pair that came into power. And having done a lot for the party, obviously, after his attempts to contest for the 2007 elections with our current president and the Honorable Alan Kojo Chamanti, it was a very competitive elections in Legon. And if you get to know, none of them got 50 plus one. And I remember my late father played a critical role in ensuring that we all accept and move on with the acclamation of our president and Addo Dankwa. And it went very well. And after that, he played a critical role in supporting the president in the 2008 elections, both financially and taking Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to all the nook and cranny. But before to choose Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, at least it is something that is evident. He played a major role in vouching for the vice president, giving the assurances to the president and President Kufuor that he was obviously going to hold the hand of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to take him to every nook and cranny. If you care to know, at that time, my late father was somebody who was well-versed across all the 16 regions of the country. And having been a vice president and the first Muslim vice president with clout, it was important to have used that opportunity to help Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who was then coming in. And in Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's own words, and at least appreciating the efforts of my father, said that he was very new in politics, and that role has been played, and he did that in 2008. And in 2012, the same way he was his vision to see that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia becomes a president, which he tried and paved the way to give every opportunity to everybody in the party, whichever you come from, whether the north, the south, or the east. And that gave that Dr. Bawumia that ambition. And obviously in the 2012 elections, he did that just to make sure Dr. Mahmoud. But through the campaign around, he was on a way to campaign with Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and he had that serious illness, and through that, after a few days, he died. So I see that the vision of him trying to see Bawumia succeed as a vice president and onward to become a president was something that was very, very dear to me. And I knew that if he was alive, he would have obviously been happy with what is happening after the superdelegates.
So you're holding the baton for your dad?
Of course, having been the eldest son of my father, obviously I should be the one spearheading the Aliu Mahama agenda for the vice president, of course, obviously.
Even though you had Alan in 2007 and the campaign was at Edroni, so you do not think that you should go to Alan this time?
Yes, I mean, as I said, the party is a democratic party. If you get to know, at the time my dad was vice president, he contested with the foreign minister and a lot of people. And if you know, MPP is a party of Democrats. If you're an MPP, truly fledged MPP, you should never be afraid of elections. If you take you from our president, President John Kufuor, where he went through to become a president, what President Nado went through to become a president. But the wind of change always comes in a different form, because if you look at Honorable Alan Kojo Chamati, a very respected and a fine trade minister who has done a lot for both President Kufuor's government and our government. He's a very respected man, humble and all that. But that Edrumisu thing, I saw it to be like, if it's Edrumisu, then we must obviously use Dr. Kunedu Apreku. And I think that slogan is well couched, but didn't really reflect and would not reflect in the outcome of every election vis-a-vis 4th November and what we have just seen in the delegates conference. I don't think the dream is so. The shocker is to having an emergence of a new person that is Honorable Kennedy Japan, who has really surprised the system. So that dream is so has been overtaken by showdown.
I like how you put it. The dream is taken over by showdown. Are you supporting Dr. Bawumia because 1, you are a Muslim, 2, you are a Northerner, or 3, there's something else you're looking at?
There's nothing Northernership of me trying to support Dr. Bawumia. What it is that, first of all, MPP is a party for all of us, a Dumbo, Danko, Buzia. But when we look at the competence of somebody who we want him to lead, we are not saying all those who contested are not competent people. Alan Chamati is very competent. Kennedy Japan, very competent. Our former agri minister, very competent. But you see, we need some certain qualities and a competitive advantage, and that is the marketability of our vice president. Concurrently, he has been marketed across the country from 2008 to now. 16-year airspace. He's been in the airspace. He's been marketed. Bawumia is a brand that is being known by every nook and cranny of the country. So therefore, every party
Alan was also known from 2007. Yes. Alan Cash. There's a song
Alan
for
Cash.
him.
But I mean, Bawumia's work, even going to the box for the party, defending the party at the time that everybody, through that the electoral fortunes, we were wide awakened to know a lot of stuff in terms of voter electoral processes. Our president Nado had to put in systems that will make sure that when we go to the voting centers, we were very, very aligned and very, very vigilant in the day. So Bawumia is somebody who is very, very competent, who has gone through the country, understands every problems in the country, understands the constituents, understands wherever we're coming from, and is somebody who has that competitive advantage to rally all of us to lead us to breaking the 8. And that is how come I've chosen Dr. Bawumia. I'm not looking at his religion or his where he comes from. That doesn't matter. It also matters because it's also wipe up that perception that President John Mahama keeps saying that Northerners are people that have been sidelined. And if you care to know, in 1979, my late grandfather, my maternal grandfather, Mori Gala, was somebody who was going to contest. He had a party, PNP, and my grandfather was disqualified. They used to call him the Mori Gala, the president who never was. And he brought in Limam. Through the shortest period of time, Limam came within 3 months. We didn't have that opportunity. So I think the MPP tried to trumpet with the support of the Ashantis, the grants, everybody, and the spirit around the vice president. I don't think that they really looked at where he was coming from, because Ashanti region depicts where our stronghold is. And if we have strong MPs coming from Ashanti like Napo and other senior members, Eastern region like Brani Champo, Central region, a lot of important people and MPs who are more senior to me in parliament, I was saying is Bawumia, who am I as Farouk Aliu Mahama to say that the wind of change and the wind is surrounding our incoming president, inshallah, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, come December 7th, 2024.
What's the track record of Dr. Bawumia in the northern part of the country, specifically northern region and northeast, where he comes from?
Of course, if you look at the data from the times of my father, the late vice president, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has added some numbers, if you care to know. And the initial numbers, if you look at the 2020 data, it tells you that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia had performed better. If you look, we had 9 votes out of NDC had 9. It tells you that in 2020, 24 is going to be more. If you look at Northeast, the number of votes he brought, and it's through the northern votes that propagated our party to be able to win the 2020 elections. If you take Yendi constituency, for instance, he was part and parcel of my campaign, and the votes we brought from Yendi, almost 41,000, Honorable Dominic Nitwo, other Habib Idrisu, Honorable Anta, and other MPs from the north all came out massively with numbers. And not only that, it cut across all the northern territory that the MPP came from. And it tells you that in addition to adding votes to the president of the presidency of the Nado Danko. So obviously you cannot...
So he got the vote, but my point is that, so what has he done for the North?
He has done a lot. You can.
What can you point to?
Please, are you talking about the lobbying skills of bringing funding to this recent Tamale airport we commissioned last week with Ayana? If you go to the Tamale interchange, you can see it. If you go to the northeast, the drone delivery systems has brought innovation. I was privileged to be part of the speakers at the Oxford British program in Oxford University, and I tried to propagate the ideas to the president and Nado Danko and the vice president idea, digitization, making sure that things become easy for us. And if you look at Northeast, the drone system, now if you have a critical situation in the country that you need something in the form of a blood, you don't need to go through the zip line drone system. And look, if you look at the Ghana card, the Ghana card, if I'm traveling, next week I'm traveling, my passport is not ready, I can use that passport to do what? The mobile interoperability, making sure we transfer money from different banks. These are all legacies. And I can
I say you're traveling next week with a Ghana card?
Yes.
To which country?
To Tanzania.
And they would accept the
Why
Ghana
not?
card?
Yes.
They told you that
yes,
if you
I'm
show
going
up,
as a member of the Agri Committee and Cocoa Affairs. Yes.
It's not because you have a diplomatic passport.
No. I'm testing the pulse, and I've accepted that I can travel with that.
Which days? Because we want to come to the airport.
Don't worry. When you are going, come with me. I can talk to my Agri Committee chairman to allow you to come in.
So that you would travel with a Ghana card to Tanzania.
Tanzania.
And you don't need Ghana passport.
You don't need Ghana passport.
Okay, that's fine. Question. The poverty levels in the north, definitely not the same as the poverty levels in the south.
Yes.
What has Dr. Bawumia done in that regard? A lot of the people we see in the central markets who do kayayo are from northeast.
Yes.
Most specifically Wale.
Yes.
That's his hometown.
Yes.
If he has fixed the problems of the north, the youth of Wale should not be coming down. So how do you defend that?
Let me correct you. I didn't say that Dr. Bawumia has fixed all problems. No politician can solve all problems.
Okay. With
the support of the president and Nado Danko Akufo-Addo, giving him the opportunity, he's done a lot in terms of trying to erase a lot of employment opportunities. But you see, the Kayo issue is something that we must be realistic about. If you look at this Kayo, people must understand that the north is not the only place that you can migrate to Accra. When you believe in what the north can provide, for instance, the dam they are coming to build in that area, the opportunities that the one district, one factory, the opportunities when you are not even qualified to say you are a degree holder. Kayo, you can put yourself into skills development, and the vice president is somebody that within the 8 years, what he's been able to do. And I know that the vision for reducing the unemployment rate in the country, especially targeting the Kayo, is something that is going to be part of his vision to roll out to make sure that...
Should he have already done it in the past
been doing,
6 years, so that we say, oh, because of Dr. Bawumia, now the brain drain or the youth migration down south
it has minimized. It has minimized.
You sure?
Yes. People from Yendi, for instance, and through the support of the vice president and the Moroccan ambassador, we were trying to do what we call roping people with skills to make sure that we build a skills development center so that you don't run away to Accra. When you are skilled in terms of beads making, batik making, and this has been done through not only Yendi. I know the Honorable Minister for Sports is also doing that in that area where the vice president comes from. The Minister for Women and Children, my sister Laraba, they are all doing things to make sure, because she's the Minister for how do they call it?
Gender
and
children.
And I'm also privileged to become, I'm the chairman of the Gender Committee in Parliament. And
why did they do that? They should have made the woman do it all.
No, but...
Or an agenda is gender.
No, agenda is gender, so don't worry. Okay. So as a chairman, we are putting up a plan so that we've started registering all these KIAs in Accra. We are going to move, trying to get a facility from the UN. When we went for the UN General Assembly on Women and Children, it was something that I propagated and made sure that obviously certain funding should be given to people so that we target these less deprived people in the KIA, so that we give them a befitting skills so that they will not be moved or they will not have that vision to move to Accra. So these are ongoing things that we are doing, and with the support of the Vice President and the President, it's going to be done.
When it comes to matters of the economy, before election 2016, the Vice President did so much in terms of taking on the Mahama government on the issues having to do with the economy. Now we are not seeing the economy looking that good. Are you sure this is not going to be a big problem for your candidate?
Which candidate, Dr. Bawumia?
Yes.
How can it be a big candidate? The economy, everybody knew where we were due to certain Russia and other Ukraine things that came in. And it's not Ghana. Is it Ghana alone that is going through this process? There are successive governments that are across the country, even US, UK, are all going through these problems. So you cannot say that the Vice President or the President is no, we are doing a lot. If you look at the IMF, we've gotten support from the IMF. Things are going on as we speak. The city is being stabilized. The economy is on a recovery, and our finance minister has shown and proven that things are going to be well. The fact that the Vice President is not speaking on that doesn't mean that things are not done concurrently. Obviously, he's doing that with the notion of the end will justify the means. And before the end of the year 2023, we would see, and I don't see anything there. We are not saying there are good times. Obviously, every listening government or every government that finds itself in a situation like this should rather not run away from the criticism. It's the criticism that we use to improve. And our President and the Vice President have not run away from that. Okay. And the Finance Minister is working hardly, assiduously to make sure that we put the government on track. And the economy is, as we speak today, the exchange rates are dropping, and the dollar to the city is improving. So we should take note from that.
Even if Bawumia carries the flag of the NPP, he's going against John Mahama, who has been president before. He's also a Northerner.
Yes.
What do you think should be what would be the competitive advantage for Bawumia, or what would Bawumia give to Ghanaians that Mahama will not give to Ghanaians? For which reason Ghanaians should go the Bawumia way and not the Mahama way?
The NDC presidential candidate, John Mahama, has been privileged to be a deputy minister, I've been privileged to be a minister, I've been privileged to be an assemblyman, I've been privileged to be a vice president, I've been privileged to be a president. We have seen his working and what he did in the first 4 years. When our president, Nado Dankwa, came, he has performed much better in all sectors of the economy. Now, Dr. Bawumia, indications are that from what the spirit of the party is saying, would inshallah emerge as the flag bearer of our party. Inshallah, if God permits, Dr. Bawumia. I can tell you Dr. Bawumia has a lot of competitive advantage over the NDC's John Mahama, because the vice president was somebody who was virtually running the 2016 campaign elections with Dr. John Mahama. And a lot of things that were said comparative in terms of, as vice president, the achievements he did vis-a-vis compared to what John Mahama did as vice president. Even as president, what John Mahama had done as a president, comparable to what Bawumia has done as a vice president, it's more way ahead of John Mahama.
Are you sure? Many people have been carrying big stones and giving to John Mahama on his campaign trail.
On what?
That he should come for his stone.
Which stone?
The things he told Ghanaians.
Who told Ghanaians?
For instance, retirees are demonstrating. Have you seen retirees demonstrating because their money has been taken by government before? It didn't happen under Mahama.
No, but so, hold on. Are you telling me that other critical issues under John Mahama?
Which issues?
But you know it.
I don't know. You tell me. You tell me. What is the campaign going to be about? Is it going to be is it going to be about corruption? Is it going to be about projects? Mahama will tell you that he built hospitals for you that you guys are enjoying. Even the Tamale International Airport.
No.
They tell you that they started the whole.
You know how the funding came about. You know it.
Yeah, but
when the vice president went to Britain, and it's all evidence with the team to go again. So please, facts are real. You don't just speak without facts.
Before Mahama left,
yes,
pilgrims were flying from Tamale to to Saudi Arabia.
Was it the international airport?
Yes. If it was not international, how were they flying out to Hajj?
No, it was not.
Okay.
It was not.
What was it?
At that time, the building was not even in place.
Alhaji Farouk.
No.
The people flew from Tamale.
Hold on. Flying from Tamale doesn't mean that edifice that was built by our president was then completed. So
no, but
please,
if
you look at the runway and you look at the size of the runway and you use that
it's a runway that makes it international.
Fine.
No?
So runway doesn't justify a full composition of an international.
So he started it then.
No. There was no edifice initiated and built. It was the government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo who initiated that and built and completed and commissioned by President Akufo-Addo. So you are now talking about campaign message you are going to use for 2024. What matters now is for us to win our flag bearer, that is Dr. Bawumia. He has his own vision. For now, I cannot speak on behalf of that plan and the blueprint the vice president is going to come out. Having known the vice president, who is very innovative, who has things outside the box, who is a seasoned economist, obviously would come out with strategic directions and solutions that would be meted out to Ghanaians. But even before that, when he emerges as the flag bearer, he will definitely demonstrate to Ghanaians before the D-Day and that one clear year before. And I know the president will definitely give him the room for him to operate, which the president has always been doing.
But let me tell you about one person who will not give him the room to operate. He's your colleague from Asin Central, Kennedy Japan. He would really stress you on November 4, don't you think?
I mean, you see, Kennedy Japan is a very respected person, as I said. And it's really surprised us by coming to second. We respect him. He has done.
That means he will surprise you by coming first.
I'm coming. No, he cannot be first. Please, MPP party, taking reference from 2020. I'm making a scenario from 2024 Super Delegates Conference. Nana Addo, our president, had 598 representing
2014.
2014, and Chairman Tin had. We knew what he got 7%, and when we then went ahead to do the main elections, Nana Addo had 94.3%. Let me tell you, in 2023. We just voted. I was a voter with my constituency chairman and my senior colleagues in parliament and across the board. DMB, you know what DMB got? Out of 961, he got 629, representing 68.8. It's the same situation we find ourselves if you want to use the data. The spirit of the party is rallying and hovering around Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. I'm not saying that I'm being optimistic, but I can tell you that on the November 4th, it will be virtually difficult for any candidate apart from Bawumia to emerge as the leader of the party.
Well.
Dr. Bawumia would obviously come out and win massively, will come and we will need the support of Honorable Kennedy Japan, we will need the support of Alan Chamanti, and that is how we have to be circumspect in dealing with them, because no matter how you find opponents in your campaigning, it's the way and the temperament, and that is the key point we must always be temperamental about our vice president. Temperamental and be able to absorb the heat, and he's always sober and will accept Kennedy as a brother and whoever that is involved as a leader of the party.
Let's conclude. Why should the NPP delegates in Yendi choose Farouk Mahama, and why should people in Yendi choose you again to be their MP?
First of all, I emerged as a member of, as an aspirant. I told the people of Yendi about my vision of the new Yendi City proud before I became a member of parliament. I had demonstrated seriousness in the health sector, agri sector, social intervention, women's support, 4 years down the line before I became a member of parliament. And in your interview with Bernard, I told you that I was going to win with 12,000 votes. Truly, the delegates of Yendi knew who I was, know my credibility. Upon all the attacks that I ran away as if I'm elected, won the primaries, went ahead to win with 16,000 votes, the highest in the whole North region. I'm even in the 3 North regions. I had the highest, 16. And between me and the president, I had beaten the president almost 3,000 votes difference.
So they like Farouk?
It tells, it's not, they like Farm. Farm is the brand.
Farouk Aliu Mahama.
And if you want to shorten it, you say talk and do, because my credibility in whatever I say I want to do is done. Now, the Yendi that I inherited as a member of parliament from 2021, Yendi inner roads, hospitals, schools, delivery system, enter into Yendi. The new Yendi City is a reality. And inshallah, on the 24th of February, It's a continuation of a reward by delegates and the good people of Yendi. Having been a most visible MP in the North region, the research always shows that I'm visible, I'm in touch with my people. I make sure that the representation that I was sent to represent my people in the August House in the plenary has been achieved. So therefore, there's no need to change a winning horse. Even my good friend who I beat 16,000 votes, how do they call it? What's his name? Jofa. They have brought him back. Lawyer. And Dagombe say, the person that you have beaten, you always beat him. So inshallah, 2024, I'll be the parliamentary candidate for Yendi and onward to a victory. And this time it's going to be 20,000 votes. You know what I'll do? With the support of the constituency executives, my chairman, the police station executive, the constituency coordinators, and all and sundry. And I'm sending my regards to the good people of Yendi and to tell them that their son is always there. You haven't greeted the Yana yet. The Yana is the overlord. Yeah. I will do that after this. Greet the Yana in the Yana. Assalamu alaikum. You know what I'll do? Yes. I'll come and look at the new Yendi you have built before 2020. Yes, the roads. Before February 24. The roads and all we have done, infrastructure, I'll come and look at it. The emergency centers and all. Come and verify. Okay. Evidential. Evidence-based. That's Mahama's I'm not slogan, just speaking. That is Bawumia's slogan. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. That's Alhaji Farouk Mahama. He is Member of Parliament for Yendi, and he is 100% Team DMB. That would be it for Eyewitness.